Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some simple rock sliders from start to finish, so follow along and let's get started. What's going on, guys? So I know I've been putting Project Deranged on a hold for a little bit, but I had a reason. We just had a newborn, but I figured it's time to get this thing rolling again, and we're gonna start working on Project Deranged again. I did have some time, however, to take care of a few loose ends. One of them being is the bumper that got destroyed when we were winching out of that one mud pit. The bumper and the brackets that I made actually kind of bent out. The winch was completely out of here, like up front. So I had the bumper off, I reinforced the brackets, bent everything back. So our last trip ended up giving us a little bit of body damage here and there. This side got kind of screwed up when we were in that mud hole. So my thought was, let's make an exoskeleton for it. And eventually in the plans, I'm thinking about doing tube doors here and getting rid of these doors permanently. So I'm gonna get my tubing out, gonna get my welder out. We're not using a Harbor Freight welder because the Harbor Freight welder is, let's face it, a piece of crap. We need something more decent, so I'm gonna be using an actual real MIG welder, not the thing that I've been fighting for the floor on it. Let's get it all set up and let's start cutting. So I got two sections at 6 feet for the square tubing. That's gonna be my main. And then I'm gonna add a hoop here with some bars coming off of that. To make that section, I'm using the affordable bender. But so far, just to get the tube into the affordable bender, I gotta say it's kind of a pain in the ass with the way everything is. Maybe everything will settle after I use it a couple times, it'll be easier, but things just don't line up right here. Like, once you get the tube through, it's almost impossible to get that collar on and line everything up. You gotta go up and down and play with the jack. It's just, we'll see how it bends. So this is my first time using the affordable bender, and we'll see what happens. We're coming up on 80. There's 80. Let's see how much spring back I get. 4 degrees of spring back, 85. Let's see how much, after adjusting the jack, how much spring back. Perfect. So we got, with the spring back, we're back at 80. Didn't flatten it out much. So this actually came out fairly decent. So I got the first bend done. So this is at 80, and this is the way that I kind of wanted to sit. I wanted it to stand out 4 inches, but I'm also gonna angle it up a little bit like this. So I'm gonna go 30 degrees on this right here. So I gotta cut at a 30-degree angle, this tubing. But first, what I have to do is bend the other side. This mark right here is where my bend ended. So I'm gonna measure this distance right here, and I'm gonna measure this distance to make sure that I get the same amount of spacing here at the end. Okay, so the affordable bender is definitely a pain in the ass to use, but damn, it bends good. Like, I can't complain. It took me like a good 15 minutes to wrangle this pipe in there so that I can bend it. and line everything up. And I'm still getting used to it. Obviously, it's the first time I'm using this. Actually, it's the first time I'm bending steel. But, so my goal was to have a little bit of reveal right here off of the main. So I was hoping for about a 1/2 inch, and I measured my bend at 16 from start to finish. So this was the finish, and essentially I made a mistake by 1 inch. So instead of 16 inches in a bend from start to finish for an 80-degree angle that I did here, it's 15 inches. Obviously I'm not gonna complain about it because it's literally 6 feet, exactly what the square tubing is, and it's just gonna be more closer to the edge. Now what I could do is I could also move this square pipe in. It'll give me more of a reveal, but what I want to have a total of 4 inches stand out. So it's going to be a 30-degree angle outward, so I stay at the same distance up on top. We're only extending the bottom. All right, so I got it pretty much where I want it. Basically, this is what it's gonna look like. Let's get cracking on making another one like this, and hopefully I'm not gonna screw it up this time and lose an inch. Both are done, just like that. So you might be asking me, how the hell am I gonna get those little space or those little crossbars in here? Good question. I haven't figured that out yet. I know I should have done that before welding these up, but it is what it is, and I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out. I didn't even think about it because those are gonna have to be notched and then slid in, but hopefully that there's a 30-degree angle, the notch will be able to like hug, and then I'll be able to get the angle right and get it in there. So I'm gonna measure for that, and I'm actually probably gonna cut those. Not bad. Whoa. Ta-da! Needs a little bit of adjustment, but not bad. So this tubing notcher cost me 80 bucks on Amazon, and look at that. Freaking perfect. Ta-da! Absolutely awesome. It should work out the way that I want it, because obviously this side is the shorter side. So if I sink it from this side after I cut a 90-degree or a 30-degree angle on here, it should seat up pretty nice, so I'll be able to get those in there no problem. There you go, and that's as good as it gets right there.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
I gotta say the hardest part of it all is basically figuring out the length of these cross members that are going to be welding to the frame. This is like the biggest pet peeve of mine of getting like, I'm pretty anal about getting these straight, so it sits flush with the truck. It's not like crooked or lopsided. So a lot of adjustments, and I've been messing around with 2 jack stands, pulling it up there and finding the angle of this one, because the frame on the Durango angles outward towards the back. It's not just a straight frame across. So all these are going to be pretty much different lengths until I can figure out how many I'm doing. So the first thing is the very first one I did across this bar right here, right, because I have the ability to weld it here. This one is going to be a little bit offset because it's going to be closer to the body mount. And then the third one, I'm not sure where I'm doing yet. I'm going to have to figure out on there, because there's a body mount, there's an angle, there's some other stuff. And the crappy part is I'm not going to be able to get to the top to weld this. So this is going to be welded just in a U over here. But I'm thinking about cutting some triangles to reinforce it, throwing a bead on here. Probably not going to be able to do it on top. I'm going to start getting this welded up and grind down the frame and see if we can tack this onto the frame and then go from there. I got them mounted up. So right now I'm just doing 2 cross bars for now, up until I figure out what I'm doing with the roll cage, and if I'm doing it on the inside or outside. That's kind of going to make a difference of where I'm going to put 1 or 2 more cross members for the rock slider. Basically what I want it to be is that once I do my main hoop in here, I want to be able to drill through the floor right here and go right to the cross member that goes to the frame, so I could tie in my main hoop right into the rock slider and right into the frame. Now if I'm building the cage on the outside, basically what's going to happen is the tube's going to come over here, most likely going to go right here, and then from here it's going to shoot into the frame. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm leaving it on 2 right now, just for the purpose of the fact that I don't know how I'm going to tie in the roll cage. So besides being the first time of me using that bender, this is actually my first time using this this MIG. Everything that I've done before has been with the Harbor Freight Flux garbage welder. So I bought myself a decent MIG welder, and seems like my welds are actually pretty decent, especially for what this is. I know I'm going to get the protection from the rocks, so it works out. So to recap, what I did was simple 6 feet of square tubing on each side. This is 2x2 120 wall, and the tubing is 120 electro weld, just because it's a lot cheaper than DOM. I really don't think that I need DOM for this right here, especially since I'm going to be doing low speed stuff, and this is, I think, plenty. So fairly simple. If you guys are curious what I'm using for a welder, I am using CanaWeld multi-process 201 SLM. So far it seems like it's awesome. It does TIG and MIG and stick. I'm running mix on it, and then I got a tank of argon for the TIG welder. I'll put the link in the description for the welder if you guys are curious or interested in something like that. It comes with a nice little TIG torch. Tubing bender that I'm using, I'll throw it in the description as well. Not the easiest thing to use in the world, but it got the job done. And you know, for the price that it costs and for what it is, I'm really happy with the quality of the bends. Other than that, it's definitely not something that I'm gonna be using like every single day, but it's a nice tool to have. It's a nice thing to have, and to be able to do bends on tubing whenever you need to. And we're definitely gonna put it to a complete test by doing the roll cage in Project Deranged. If you guys are curious about Project Deranged, check out other videos on it. I know a lot of you guys are asking what type of bumper I'm running and things like that. There's videos on that, check out the playlist. And I also have a new toy coming for the channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and later.